Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Coffee, Books, and Rain, where we talk about as many literary things as possible. And I had a very prolific month in January, and so far February has been no less busy. I think I am rolling right along with about 15 books this month, and I'm loving it. I really am. But I had to talk about The Warm Hands of Ghosts by Katherine Arden. So, most people know Katherine Arden and her series of The Bear and the Nightingale, and that series, I think it's a trilogy, really great series, and I hope to be able to do episodes on each of those books as well in the future. I feel like those are really great winter reads, and the weather's already starting to turn kind of springish right now because today it is about 70 degrees. However, we are still in February, and this book actually just released about a week ago. So that is why we are discussing The Warm Hands of Ghosts. Um, it released February 13th of 2024, and I hope you are able to find it at any of your local bookstores, wherever you find your book or wherever you get your book fix. I sometimes do audiobooks. I think this one I did in an ebook and I really enjoyed it. I did actually get this one as an advanced reader copy from NetGalley, so I have to thank them for providing me an advanced reader copy in return for my honest review. Um, so just wanted to throw that out there. It currently has 4.24 stars on Goodreads and 4.4 stars on Amazon. I just like to give you those stats to let you know how other people are also receiving this book. I believe I rounded my review up to 5 stars because I think I probably would have given it 4.5 stars, but I didn't want to round it down. And I think if you listen to a couple of my episodes, you'll probably kind of hear that that's what I tend to do. I tend to err on the side of giving the authors the benefits of the doubt more than taking it away. Not to say that I think the book is perfect, but it's kind of hard when the book is. I don't think it's 4 stars. I feel like that. I don't know. I feel like 4 is just not enough. So that's just my personal thought. I do wish Goodreads and some other platforms would give me the half-star ratings so I could give it what I feel is a little bit better of a more accurate rating, but that's just my thoughts. So until they fix that or until they do that, I'm going to say it got 5 stars. Uh, so, January 1918, Laura Ivan was a revered field nurse until she was wounded and discharged from the medical corps, leaving behind a brother still fighting in Flanders. Now, home in Halifax, Canada, she receives word of Freddie's death in combat, along with his personal effects, but something doesn't make sense. Determined to uncover the truth, Laura returns to Belgium as a volunteer at a private hospital. Soon after arriving, she hears whispers about haunted trenches and a strange hotelier whose wine gives soldiers the gift of oblivion. Could Freddie have escaped the battlefield, only to fall prey to something or someone else? November 1917. Freddie Ivan awakens after an explosion to find himself trapped in an overturned pillbox with a wounded enemy soldier, a German by the name of Hans Winter. Against all odds, the two men form an alliance and succeed in clawing their way out. Unable to bear the thought of returning to the killing fields, especially on opposite sides, they take refuge with a mysterious man who seems to have the power to make the hellscape of the trenches disappear. As shells rain down on Flanders, the ghosts move among those yet living. Laura's and Freddie's deepest traumas are awakened. Now they must decide whether their world is worth salvaging or better left behind entirely. So, there we go. That is the summary that we have been provided on Goodreads, and so giving it credit for that pretty good synopsis. It is considered fantasy, historical fiction, paranormal. There's some World War One. Somebody put World War One. I feel confident this is World War Two, and ghosts. So just throwing that out there. Especially if we've got Germans and pillboxes. Oh, I guess it is World War One because we're in 1918, and I think World War Two is somewhere in the 1940s. So this is World War One. Huh. All right. Well, I was interpreting that a little incorrectly, wasn't I? Well, so like I said, I gave this book 5 stars because I kind of thought of it as a little bit more of a magical realism book. There are points that I thought the line between the real and the paranormal were blurred, especially as we are kind of in this war state. There are points that are dreamlike that seem to cross over, and the hotel of this fiddler of this hotelier, um, it's also very dreamlike, and it kind of calls back those, bringing back memories and showing people the thing they want most or the thing they most desire. And so there's a lot of those different kind of longings that are involved in it. There is some subtle romance. There's family ties and kind of risking everything to save loved ones. Um, and so I just kind of like, I thought it was really beautifully written. Some of it's heartbreaking, some of it's hard. It is pretty complex because the story she weaves is pretty powerful. We've got some characters who are just trying to survive. Some that are trying to, of course, Laura, who is trying to find her brother in this chaos of war. Her brother, who is literally kind of a deserter for the most part. So instead of returning back to his kind of the fighting lines after he has like more or less been trapped in this pillbox with this enemy soldier, and I picture it to be like this concrete block. A shell goes off and it gets tumbled a little bit more, so they actually find a way out. They don't want to return to fighting each other. They found some sort of kindred spirit in each other, and now they just want to survive. They want to get away and survive. And so they don't know how to do that if they're still more or less behind each other's enemy lines. So they do discover they're more or less behind Freddy's lines, and so Hans would be his prisoner, and but Freddy doesn't want to return to kind of his command to say, hey, he runs, and so he has deserted, and a point arises where this hotel shows up, and they more or less have to split, but it's the only place that Freddy kind of more or less feels, and not even safe, but it's kind of just an escape more than anything, because the more he tells this hotelier stories about his life, the more he finds himself forgetting about the outside world and about his sister and about these other different things and peoples. He starts to forget the color of Hans's eyes that were like this ice blue. And so there are just a lot of different aspects to it that are kind of both heartwarming and heart-wrenching at the same time, because you don't want Freddy. You can tell that he's got incredible levels of like PTSD from the traumas of war. So you don't want him to have to return to war after everything he's gone through. But you also you understand that he's supposed to return to war. And so you're kind of on the fence. You like I know for me, I did not blame him for not going back, but of course I haven't ever been in that sort of situation. Laura, she volunteers again at the private hospital in order to try to find more information about her brother, because when she receives his stuff, she was also at the house of a neighbor, and actually at this neighbor's house is these 3 women, and in a lot of different ways these women are like the 3 fates. If you know the 3 women who hold the strings of fate, like the one who has like the strings and the scissors and the eye, who can more or less tell you all these different pieces of fate. But that's kind of how they're referenced, and I truly wish that my ARC, my advanced reader copy, was still active. It's just simply because I had bookmarked a piece of that because I thought it was just so very, very fitting that that she had put them in there as kind of like a nod back to them. But they were very, very cool. And they have a seance that happens at their house, and something comes through that says pretty much Freddy's not dead. Somebody, something comes through while Laura's there, even though it's not Laura's reading, that says that Freddy is not dead. And then Laura receives his stuff, but she receives like all of his stuff, like all of his dog tags and all of these things. And she's like, well, if he was dead, then one of these dog tags would have stayed with the body. And they're like, oh, well, we didn't recover the body. And then she's like, well, how do you know he's dead? And they're like, oh, well, we just assume he's dead because he, like, he got trapped in a pillbox and there's no way he could have survived. And she's like, well, how do you know? And they're like, well, we just do. And she's like, yeah, I don't know if I fully believe you. I need to find out for myself. So she goes back over there to try to get more information, and that's kind of like her journey kind of starts, is where this private hospital is that she's volunteering at is not too far from where her brother was last kind of fighting. So she's able to start there to explore and kind of be a detective about those sorts of things. So there's a lot of weaving of the storylines, and again, very heart-wrenching, and paths like ships in the night, like we're so close at different points. I just highly recommend it if you like the way Elizabeth Arden writes with a very dreamlike quality. You will probably like this one as well. There was a quote that I had read, and it says, we were born together, we died together, I cannot live without you. And I want to say that that is a quote from, probably from Freddie and Hans. Freddie to Hans, probably. But it was really, really moving. Like I said, there is some romance, and it's really, really well done. Because again, it's subtle, and it's not like incredibly over or in your face, but man, it's so moving in a lot of different ways. And magical realism in the fact that you kind of lose the ability to tell when some things are a dream and some things are figments of the imagination or hallucinations, and some things are real. So all very cool things, all very good points to like read and explore for yourself. So I hope you'll give this book a chance. I had put a picture of the book over here, or at least the version that I have seen at Barnes & Noble. If you are looking for it, I hope you'll go out and give it a read. Let me know what you think down below, if it sounds like your kind of read. If not, what is next on your reading list? Because I have quite a few coming up. Happily, my March is a little light, so I may take maybe take a trip up to Chicago and go visit one of my very favorite bookish friends, Emily. However, we shall see. And until next time, I will see you guys on the next page. I hope you have a great one. Bye.